Hello, and a warm welcome here in Oxford at the workshop of Meta Visionaries. And I have a question right away to Dr. James Green.
All right.
You have decades of experience in NASA,
Yes, I
and
do.
you're now the chief scientist of Meta Visionaries.
Mhm.
What was the point when you said, this is an interesting company, I want to join?
Well, actually, that was pretty easy. And the element that really is important to me, and has been for quite a few years, is space education. The ability to talk and outreach and get people excited about not only what we do in space, but allow them an opportunity to join us. You know, and I really believe this species is not going to survive if we ignore space. We really need to be in space. We need to be able to leverage that opportunity in many different ways. So when Wasim and I were talking about the potential for teaching in the metaverse, I was sold. I mean, I loved a variety of technologies. In fact, I did a number of important technologies in NASA. I invented their first internet in 1980. I brought in the World Wide Web into the NASA environment. I had our first web pages throughout the agency. And this is just another big step in technology that you can't ignore. It's so important. So it was a delight to join Wasim and the team. It didn't matter what we called it. I like Meta Visionaries as a name. And so off we go.
Wow, and it did work out. And I have a question to Dr. Tara Ridgely. You told me that you've been fascinated as a 9-year-old kid thinking about my career is going to be a NASA astronaut. Today you are excellent in space at NASA Washington, D.C. And what advice would you have to a 9-year-old girl that I know by chance that is within our AstroKid club? She wants to become an astronaut. What is your advice?
She's just like me. That's fantastic. My advice is do it. Do what you love. Join the clubs, the communities, the groups like yours that have your people that share your interests. And sometimes you'll find that you might be in groups of people that don't share your interests, and you may be the only one, and you may feel a little different. And that's okay. As long as your heart and your passion is still in that dream, follow it. Now, I will say, sometimes it'll be easier than other times. Sometimes it'll be incredibly difficult, and you might question, what am I doing? But that's what life is about. And so if you ever get to the point where you might think, you know what, maybe astronaut isn't right for me. Maybe it's science, or maybe I want to be an engineer. You might think that. You might question it, explore it. And you might find that if you go and explore something else, you might come right back to astronaut. And that's okay. I'm well older than 9 years old these days, and I still want to be an astronaut. And sometimes that dream just doesn't go away. So you do everything you can in the process to contribute to those who are astronauts, to contribute to the cause. And eventually, when you are in the right place and you're doing what you love and you become the expert, you'll get there eventually. So if that's really what you want and you don't lose sight of that dream, you just have to keep going. You won't know anything else. There's nothing else you'll want to do.
That sounds perfect. It sounds like there is no obstacle. There is a solution always waiting for you.
That's it.
And when you got a dream, dream it.
Yep.
And there's a person who had a dream, and that is Wasim. And he realized as a startup, something small became so big and so successful. And I would like to ask you, Wasim, we met in Baku, and you convinced me of Meta Visionaries to come here to Oxford. I know a little about space. I know a little about health. How would you explain in a nutshell what is the purpose of your company, and how would you motivate somebody else for a startup in this environment?
For me, what we do and how we do it, we know that this next decade is changing, and it's changing exponentially. It's changing rapidly. So how do you keep on top of that? How do you move with that time? And how do you bring people along with you? Because solutions we're going to require are going to be global. Because when destruction comes, it's indiscriminate. So why not collaborate indiscriminately? So for us with MetaVisionaries, it was making sure that over the next decade, we provide access to those who necessarily wouldn't have had it from the start. Secondly, the most important part is having a great team. And everything I do, I do the things that these great people are not doing, not because they can't do it, it's just I'll do it for them. And that makes the difference. The team is fundamental into everything you do. So anybody who's starting a startup, the first thing I'll say is, be ready for the roller coaster ride, something Tara mentioned. Things are going to go right, things are not going to go right, but the people who stand with you at that time, they'll be with you for life. And everybody who's sitting around here has backed me 100%, 300%. They've taken calls at 1 o'clock at night or 2 o'clock in the morning, it doesn't matter, you know, and that's the key. I watched, the first time I saw Jim was on Ancient Aliens when I was a kid in a video cassette. Okay, so I never thought that one day I'll be working with him.
Yeah.
So one thing I'll tell you, you're one conversation away. Myself and Ahab, we met in one of our pharmacies, and he was retired. We brought him semi out of retirement. So you know, it makes a big difference. Ultimately, anything's possible, and it doesn't matter which background you're from. Like we're a proof of that. So if you're gonna have a startup, be persistent. The key thing is resilience and your team. The people around you will back you all the way because they really care about you. Once you have those people, there's nothing that will stop you.
That's a good answer. And yesterday, you showed me the innovation lab at the Oxford University, and it's sensational what you're doing there. It's a step, it's a new dimension, and Mr. Yao,
Yeah.
you have the background of a father that was a doctor.
Yes.
You know a lot about hospitals, you know a lot about care and all these things with IT. And your goal was also always an ethical goal. You brought in health for space, ethics. And what is the ethics that you would give to other people and what other people should give to everybody in the next step that is feasible? What is your answer?
Well, the first thing in healthcare, they focus on human health and human pain and human happiness and human wellness. How can we transform? And I saw a lot of through the hospitals and through dealing with patients and dealing with my father, patients, and being in a hospital and long-term care, deal with my mother and everybody around the area of healthcare getting better. I never want to see anybody getting in pain again. I want them to live longer with a quality of life that they can sustain this. And if I can disrupt the way we think, the way technology helps, the way that we research the potential of being a stronger human with resilience and fighting diseases, not each other, building together the future. And the only lens I saw that can be happen, I worked all the way in different industry, pharma, technology, healthcare, and I built it with a lot of doctors. I supported nurses, biomedical. So I work with all the departments, but the only lens I saw that they can bring everybody together is the lens of space, because it looks at humanity from abroad. So I stepped back a little bit, but too far to space. And then I looked at Earth, and we realized that we're human living on this planet, and we have the same problems everywhere. And if we can support each other to think from all disciplinary, to focus on this by itself and help each other to achieve it, this is my goal. From education to lab, to research, to industry support, to create new products, to identify and verify certain things that makes us live longer, but with the resilient and a strong strong, what do you call it, strength. So we don't, we can fight diseases. We don't compromise our immune system.
Mhm, mhm. That's so important for everybody in space and reflecting
And
to
to
everybody on Earth, isn't it?
Yes.
And look at you. You have a lot of experience in Europe. You come from Brussels. That is the headquarters of European ideas. Your name is Dr. Hilde Stenner. And I asked you for the European perspective because we've seen, we heard something is going on, changing a lot. What is changing in your eyes for better?
For the better. I think this type of connections. You mentioned you had the opportunity to visit the Space Innovation Lab in Oxford here, and I think it's really about connecting. And so when you ask the European perspective, I'm already happy that my colleagues here, they mentioned like space is by its nature, it's global, it's beyond global. So it's what brings us together, and for sure we might have a slightly different perspective in Europe than we do in the US. But in all honesty, I need to remind myself of that. I mean, I actually got into this thanks to Tara, who I know from working together on the International Space Station. And I think already then the International Space Station is international, as it says. And I think already then, yeah, we were, Tara was working for the Program Science Office, and I was working for the Mission Science Office of ESA. We were putting together the research results, the data, how much publications. It was already entirely global then, but I think what really, for me, is really intriguing and very motivating and exciting is that we're trying to connect all of these space innovation labs now, whether they're in Oxford or whether they're in KAUST in Saudi or whether they're in Malta. We want to connect these people, give them the opportunity to connect to brilliant people like we happen to have here on the chair, and really push it beyond what each of these individuals could be doing by the collaborations that they can set up, by talking to each other in the metaverse and so on, in such a way that honestly I think they will forget whether they're European or whether they're because it's for the bigger scope of what we're setting out to do in space education and capacity building and pushing the limits of what we can do. So
That's just great. Great for everybody. And I have a question to every one of you. Do you think that this company, as a startup, is already at a stage to look at contests, to look at applying, giving an application for an award? You think so?
In terms of a recognition of what we do?
In
Well, I
terms
think-
of the goal of getting an award you have to apply for, is the stage of this startup already there to say, yes, we go for an award? That's my question.
Well, I when I worked in you as a social entrepreneur and an entrepreneur itself, in a new idea that helped people to progress better, to connect people together, to connect the world together with the mission and vision and positiveness and hope and resilience for a longer period of time to save humanity and Earth as a planet. It recognized as something that will get a reward. Working with scientific community that they have lacking of funding from all over the world, and they work so hard to help humanity from all angles. We need everyone to recognize every one of them, not us only, but the people who made this happen or gonna make more things happen in the future. If we can create a scientific community with an entrepreneur mindset, or we bring them with an entrepreneur ideas to make their ideas happen on Earth faster and quicker with all the technologies available today, I think it's a Nobel Prize, not only a recognition prize. And it will achieve the result that they're looking for. A better human with the small resources, more outcome with fundamental saving of Earth, from global warming to understanding to learning, collaborating to achieve better results.
Yeah, recognition is important, but results to me are the most important. The ability to spread the knowledge about what we're doing in space, get a lot of people interested in doing a variety of important research in space is critical for us to be able to perform experiments that are thought up by people with different cultures, different perspectives, different views, points of view. As we talked about, space is so international. We really want those ideas to then be put into a variety of experiments, get them up on International Space Station, see what the results are, and then get the results out, and then continue to build on that. And I think that process, the MetaVisionaries, is well connected through the IceCube's activities, where our experiments, through space applications where the Science Innovation Labs help analyze the data, through the metaverse to where we distribute results and we build capacity and interest in space. So we have, I think, all the perfect elements to really help move this planet forward to become more space aware. And I think that's what I'd like to do and see, and I think we're doing great at it.
That's a good perspective. What is your answer?
To a little bit shorter than theirs. Sure.
Sure.
Because we're pulling together lots of firsts of
First.
people that have never done this kind of thing together. So if anything, and we have so much more work to do, but for now, if anything, pulling together curriculum in the metaverse and pulling people together from around the world to talk about and learn about space, right there is just an organization that is a yes. I think so.
Yes. And the yes I say to Wasim, I like to invite MetaVisionaries to go for a global award. Perhaps we'll see again in November 2024, 19 November. Perhaps that is a good chance to go public.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting
Thank you.
us. We'll be honored.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.